Breakfast is not about rules, but there are some rules for breakfast. In this episode, I will talk about 4 things. Why we say we don't like to eat breakfast, what are the real reasons, why should we have breakfast, what to have for breakfast to have a good day. As a nutrition teacher, I usually work with people interested in food, but they also have some health challenges, autoimmune disorders, some chronic illnesses, and digestive issues. If your digestion works perfectly and you have no health issues, usually you would not care about food. You just eat everything and then you will not look for nutrition teachers. So my understanding of breakfast comes from this experience and also from all research that I read constantly. I try to update myself on nutrition science every week. Those reasons that people give explaining why they do not have breakfast are pretty common. I do not have breakfast because I don't feel hungry in the morning. Some people say I don't have time for that. It's too stressful. Some people say that they feel nauseated or tired after breakfast, feel discomfort in the stomach, in the gut. Some people feel that after eating breakfast they cannot think clearly and this morning time until the lunch is precious. They try to save this time for their main tasks in their jobs. So they would say, if I would be having breakfast, I would be ruining all day because then I would get kind of, not very fit for work. So they try to run without breakfast just to have clear mind. Many people say, I prefer coffee instead of breakfast. It gives me energy, it gives me focus, and I can last until 11 a.m. or even noon. Some people say they do not have breakfast because that helps them to eat less during the day. They call it intermittent fasting. So when I hear all those things, they are superficial level of our understanding of the body. I'm not saying that those understandings are wrong. They are just on the surface of our understanding how our body works. Our circadian rhythms are dysregulated, our nervous system is dysregulated, our hunger cues are dysregulated. It's not a bad thing, not a good thing, there is no moral in it. All those habits that we have, they are shaped by our previous habits. This also indicates some biological functions of our body. Also, it may indicate stress levels that we have and inability of the body to deal with the stress. Coffee, caffeine, in general has hunger suppressive effect. When we say, I don't want breakfast, I prefer coffee, what we actually saying, I am suppressing my hunger cues with the coffee, so I can skip breakfast. That's the difference between superficial understanding of our habits and deeper understanding of our habits. It definitely can be changed if we wish that. I don't think it can be changed on demand. If someone from outside comes and tells you to eat breakfast, probably your body will react with rejection to that. But it's good to know that in any time when you will want to change this habit, you will be able to do that because body has points that you can use and help your body to regulate itself better. So for example, I had a student, they never had a breakfast. They wanted to have it. They wanted some biohacking. They adjusted dinner, changed some activities, and they regulated their stress levels. That helped. So the student has a breakfast now. And that changed a lot of other things that they thought it's impossible to change. In the morning, we have a cortisol spike. For some people, it manifests as hunger suppression. Some of us, we tend to have rich dinner and it's quite late. That means the body in the morning is still digesting our evening meal. Some of us, we have low interoception. We do not know when we are hungry. That is typical for neurodivergent people. Some of us think that hunger means to feel fatigued or to feel irritated. That's the level of hunger that we, cannot bear anymore. Like, I really want to eat. When we do not have those strong feelings, we assume that we don't have hunger. Some of us are on this blood sugar roller coaster from the evening. Some of us, we do not have safe or tasty options for breakfast. But to have breakfast in the morning when we have other things to think about, it feels like too much. If someone would cook for us breakfast, maybe we would be eating it. Some of us, we associate breakfast with the stress. Maybe during our childhood years we didn't have breakfast, or there was somebody who was preparing it for us, but we were not feeling like eating and we were forced to eat breakfast. So now we're using this opportunity that we are grown-ups and we can decide, and then we voluntarily skip the breakfast just to prove ourselves our independency. Maybe breakfast was too stressful. Maybe our parents or caregivers were arguing over breakfast. Maybe we were in a rush during this morning time before the school. Maybe we used to wake up late and be in a rush, and then we had to have the breakfast very fast. And generally we do not associate breakfast with good emotions and with the feeling of happiness, joy, and we try to skip it. And some of us, we will have all those reasons together. So we would have dysregulated nervous system, dysregulated hormonal system, and also dysregulated circadian rhythms. And when all those dysregulations come together and a bit of stress is added, we may assume that it's about a personality, that I am a person who never has breakfast. Why this matters? We know that chronic breakfast skipping, especially when it is combined with coffee, and some of us have even 2 cups, so one we have at home and the other one we have when we come to work. This habit is connected to mid-morning crashes, to cravings, especially evening cravings, to fatigue, especially around 3, 4 and 5 hours afternoon, poor focus, things that we associate with personality again, or even with will or lack of will. Skipping of breakfast is also associated with blood sugar dysregulation, with spikes and crashes. That means more stress for our body, for our digestion, higher inflammation potentially, and then mood dips. Maybe we as people are not as irritable as we think of ourselves. Maybe it's just because we have no breakfast. It has consequences during the day, especially for the evening. Okay, so why to eat breakfast? I'm not here to tell you eat breakfast. You are a grown-up person, so you decide whether to eat or not. I'll just give reasons why it would be beneficial. There is this thing that is called circadian rhythms, and we have it in our bodies. The clock that adjusts our body to the environment is not only in the brain. Every cell, even bacteria, they all have little watches. Our digestion also works using certain rhythm. This rhythm can be off, and then we will have different issues, problems with digestion, and problems with digestion would lead us to other problems in other systems. Or we can help our body to adjust and make those circadian rhythms in alignment with the daylight that is around us. So I live in the northern climate. During the winter we have very short daylight time, and during the summer there are days when sun almost never goes away. So the body is always adjusting and adjusting and adjusting every day. Every day is a bit different. It's like in Japan when we have like 72 seasons, and the body is able to adjust to it. There is a way to regulate circadian rhythms with the food, and the breakfast is the master key for that. The breakfast that we have is not only nutrients that we have. It helps our body to have stable energy, stable focus, mood regulation, and digestive health. And digestive health is what we want. Now, if we are neurodivergent, especially if we have so-called ADHD, we need breakfast more than anyone else because breakfast helps us, and having no breakfast destroys us. Also for people with anxiety, with blood sugar issues, fatigue, breakfast is a key to our well-being. And I'm not saying, if you never had breakfast and then you have breakfast on the first day and the things will change. No, it may take a few weeks, but it will help. There is some mechanism in the body that carefully monitors what you have for breakfast. We need different nutrients in the morning. One of the main nutrients is a protein. I don't mean protein powder, not at all, like nothing like that. Protein has to come with a fiber, and it has to come with fats. And it also has to come with carbohydrates. So it has to be a meal, not a protein powder. Protein powder doesn't work. like real food does. One of the main reasons why some of us in those industrial or post-industrial countries, we feel we do not like breakfast. Because typical breakfast in industrial and post-industrial countries is full of calories and lacks fiber, lacks protein, complex carbohydrates, sometimes even lacks fat, rather giving us energy for all day. This kind of breakfast, which is mostly like empty calories, can lead to sugar spikes in our blood and to crash. It's very typical to have like porridge, for example, oats. For some people, that would mean that they just will feel so sleepy after this porridge. They will never associate breakfast with energy, with stable mood. They just will need to take a nap or the second cup of coffee. Many cultures around the world that still keep a traditional breakfast will incorporate beans or legumes in the breakfast. Beans or legumes, plant-based proteins, they will support energy levels. So it looks like body has a specific mechanism to measure do we have enough food, and only measures the level of protein in our breakfast. So if we have enough protein, which would be like 20, 25, up to 30 grams of protein in breakfast, then the chances that we will have all those cravings for sugar during the afternoon or during the evening, there's a high chance that those cravings will disappear. Because we have those cravings not because we lack willpower or that we have what is sometimes called emotional overeating. No, we usually have those cravings because our body registered in the morning that we either didn't have breakfast at all or had breakfast that was lacking of nutrients, especially proteins. And you may not believe my word, and you may not go and read scientific articles about that. Base your opinions on your own experience. Try to have breakfast including at least 1 cup of lentils every morning, or beans or chickpeas for a week, and see what happens with your energy in the afternoon, what happens with your so-called cravings that also usually happen either in the afternoon or in late evening. Now, there's a high chance that those will change without any effort to increase your willpower, because it's not about will or morality. It's about mechanisms that body has to provide energy and nutrition for itself. So what would be cool breakfast that would give us stable energy, stable focus, stable mood during the day, that would eliminate all those so-called cravings? That would be lentils, chickpeas, black beans with spices. We could soak them overnight, or even we can cook them night before and then just reheat in the morning. That would not be good for everyone. If you have histamine intolerance, then it's better to cook your breakfast fresh. But quinoa or buckwheat with greens, tahini and seeds will be amazing. And savory chickpea pancakes with avocado and vegetables. If you are just starting with legumes and beans in the morning and you feel this kind of psychological worry, you can start from red lentils. Peeled red lentils, they are very like soft, they are called the fast food of vegans. If you add peanut butter, if you add flaxseed, if you add greens, you will have amazing savory breakfast. And going from sweet to savory taste in breakfast will help you in the long run. And if you try this and if you like it, you will probably reach a point when you will realize that the best breakfast is dinner. So having dinner for breakfast, like kind of substantial meal, diverse, full of colors, full of different plants, including beans and legumes, but also grains or pseudo grains, also root vegetables, greens, spices, herbs, nuts, seeds, all in this huge plate. You most likely will come to that day when you will eat it. But if you're just starting, maybe a few bites instead of full meal would be better. Or you can start from soup that would include beans or legumes. Warm soup would be amazing for breakfast. When it comes to coffee and tea, it's better to have them half an hour or even an hour after you have meal. So I would start the day with warm water with lemon, and then breakfast, and then in an hour I would have coffee. And that way you will absorb more nutrients from food. But if at this particular moment it's impossible, you need to have everything at once, have it everything at once. But never have coffee before breakfast, because that will suppress your hunger cues and you will feel that you're kind of feeding yourself when you have zero interest in food. The main thing is breakfast is not about rules. It's not another suppressive or oppressive regimen that you forcing on yourself. It is a way to regulate your digestive system, nervous system, endocrinal system, and your circadian rhythms. In the long term, it will give amazing results. It is about reclaiming your morning energy and feeding your body in a kind and gentle, grounded way.